Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. We're back in Tribeca in our studio. My name is Mark DeMeo. Welcome to Police Off the Cuff. I'm here with my partner in all things law enforcement, Bill Cannon. What's up, Bill?
Last time we were here, I think, was the first week of March.
Yeah.
You realize that?
Yeah, and right now it's, what are we, the second week of...
August.
No, it's still the first week of August, so that's got to be like 8 months at least, right?
No.
I'm horrible at math. But anyway,
5,
so we're
6
back,
months.
man. It's very, very exciting. We have a great guest today. He's, well, I got a lot to talk to you about. He's a retired sergeant. His name is Pat Russo. He is the manager, the coach?
I'm the executive director of the NYPD boxing team and New York City Cops and Kids boxing program.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and I'm a big boxing fan. We're happy to have you on here.
Happy to be here.
So you retired from the job?
I am.
And were you a fighter originally?
I never fought before I came on the job, but I saw a sign in the academy back in '84. Said to join the NYPD boxing team, and I went down to
I was
Starrett
going to ask
City.
you about that. If you can just join, like, it's not like something like oh, I want to try boxing, so I'm going to go to the boxing team. You have to have boxing experience a little bit, no?
You know what? It kind of evolved over the years. When I first went on the job, you didn't need any boxing experience because they matched you up with guys with no experience also.
Almost like a smoker.
So did you knock girls out in the academy? You're like, I think that used to happen, yo.
Yeah. No, I never got to spar with any females.
Oh,
No.
okay, me neither.
So you were in the
A couple of
academy.
prostitutes on the job.
So you're in the academy, and you see this sign for...
Right, there was a sign to join the NYPD boxing team, and I showed up in Starrett City, Brooklyn, famous Starrett City
Yeah, I
boxing
remember that,
gym.
yeah.
And I
So
went
you mean the
down there.
boxing training that you got in the gym, in the academy, wasn't enough for you?
No, I always wanted to box as a kid, and there were no. I grew up on Bay 8th Street in Brooklyn.
So did you go, hey, Adrian, I'm going after work to the boxing gym.
No, I didn't. I wasn't married at the time, and I didn't
Okay.
tell her. It was my girlfriend at the time. That's my wife. Not.
So
She had
you
nothing
started,
to do with it.
you started actually training boxing as a cop.
As a cop, yeah, or as a rookie in the academy, I sparred a couple of times. I went for 3 consecutive Saturdays, and the coach, Carl Schroeder, retired detective, came up to me and he says, "You want to fight against the fire department in Madison Square Garden?" So my first boxing match was in Madison Square Garden against the fire department.
Wow.
How'd
A
you do?
sold out Madison. I won.
You did?
I won. I beat a fire.
There's very few knockouts in police boxing, though, right?
No, there were a lot today.
Really?
Because and now, like I said, it evolved into these smokers.
Yeah.
And in the smokers, they're guys that never really boxed, never trained, but they were guys that kind of have a beef with one
So they
another
throw haymakers,
within
right?
in the
Yeah, but there's a
command.
difference between the smokers and the PBA boxing team. I mean, the boxing team, you guys travel internationally,
Yes,
right?
yes, there's a 100% difference. And at the time, we were just the NYPD boxing team. We didn't do smokers where we fought legitimately the NYPD versus everybody. NYPD versus LAPD, Houston PD. We went to London. I
What
went
is
to
it,
London twice to fight the Bobbies.
Wow.
That was a wonderful
What
experience.
is it, 3 rounds?
Well, as an amateur, it's 3 2-minute rounds.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
You guys wear headgear, too? or-
Headgear and big gloves, 16-ounce gloves.
Okay.
So it's
really-
safety, but it's a lot of fun, and the competition was wonderful. Because being NYPD, when we went to London to fight against the Bobbies, you can't even imagine the way they treated us. Because the NYPD is known
This
worldwide.
persona, yeah, absolutely.
We actually got to meet the Queen. The Queen came out of Buckingham
Oh, wow.
Palace and had the band play New York, New York for us
Wow.
in London. It was
That
a
happens
wonderful
to you and I,
experience.
Mark, right? When we go in bars in New York City.
Everywhere we
It's the
go.
guys from Police Off the Cuff.
So,
Get the janitor out here.
when you, the reason why you joined or got involved with the boxing early on in the academy was because you had an interest in it, right?
I did.
Was it because the hook value? Because the reality is, if you do something on this job outside of actually being a cop, if if you played football, I went to the academy with this guy. He was on the Dallas Cowboys for a year before he came to the academy. If you're basketball, whatever talent that you have outside of this job, if you're really good at it, you make the team. They want you. From that point on, Bill, your balls are dipped in butter. Come on, bro, you dropped your balls are dipped in butter.
That's 100% true. Guys, they're on the football team or anything. They got whatever they want.
Yeah,
they really
yeah.
did.
Well, you got whatever you get. You could definitely take whatever RDOs you want.
Yeah.
And you're always going away during the holiday for some make believe.
Well,
nonsense.
we used to think guys that were in the military used to get over big time, but
they
that was
definitely
before there
scared.
were conflicts. Right then, once we went to Iraq and Afghanistan, all of a sudden there was no picnic anymore. Right? You know, guys that used to go, "Oh, I'm going on maneuvers this weekend." Every weekend when the midnight tours hit, when you were in the night squad chart, right?
So, so take us back right now. You're how old are you where are you from anyway?
I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
And you didn't have enough fighting that you had to.
I wanted to learn how to really fight.
Yeah.
What did you
Really box.
What, so you,
I love the sport. I used to be that kid that every Saturday I would go home and watch Wide World of Sports.
Yeah, I remember that.
Would have USA versus the world, like USA versus Cuba, USA versus Russia. I love that. So I
Saturday
said
back
it's something
then?
that I always wanted to do.
you could watch Salvador Sanchez.
Everybody.
First,
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, really great fights on Saturday in the afternoon, 4:00.
That's
White
right,
Rose
yeah.
Well, it was
Sports.
that
When
the one
boxing was
Olympics
great.
where Sugar Ray Leonard won, Howard Davis from Glen Cove. A bunch of guys won the gold. The Spinks brothers,
Yeah,
they
that-
all
that-
won gold medals that year.
That's
was like
that's
the
when
best team
boxing
ever, right?
was at its prime.
Yeah. And Sugar Ray Fields, I think, was another guy. They won about 6 gold medals that year.
That was,
Yeah,
that
I
was
have a
great
feeling
year.
like Sugar Ray Fields, he didn't do too well, huh?
Seals, it was. Sugar Ray Seals.
There's only
it was.
one Sugar.
Yeah,
that's
that's
one
right,
too.
that's
Ray
right.
Robinson and
then
Leonard.
Remember Teofilo Stevenson from Cuba?
Teofilo-
Yeah,
That guy was an amateur for about 40 years,
For
right?
40 years.
Yeah, but
Because
those,
it was
those,
Cuba.
those amateurs over there
Yeah,
were
but
treated
they
like
paid
pros.
him, and
Right.
which was unfair.
So you start boxing on the boxing team here, and back then I would imagine, like you said, it was almost like a quasi-smoker. It wasn't like really the way it is now, right?
No, it was a legitimate boxing event.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So how often? You said you were going once a week. When I used to box, I used to go to Lost Battalion Hall on Queens Boulevard.
I know well.
Did you know
yeah.
Artie?
I did. Artie St. John?
Puerto Rican Artie, Black Artie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what that guy
Okay.
told me one time? He got me into sparring because the gloves were coming up, and I wasn't good enough yet to go into the gloves because I'd only been like 3 or 4 months doing it. But there wasn't that many super heavyweights. I was over 225. So and I was always bugging him to spar. Hey, I want to spar. Come on, let me spar. You're not ready yet. Go hit the bag. Go shadow box. And then he'd tell me,
Play in traffic.
he would go to me. Hey, he goes, go shadow box and do me a favor, put $5 on the shadow. I got $5 on the shadow. But then one time I started sparring. He finally let me go because the gloves were coming up. They needed super heavyweights, and from that point on, I wasn't really going to Lost Battalion. I used to get a call and be like, oh, go to Gleason's or go to Michael Elajade's place in this city or go to another place, and I'd be sparring strangers. They didn't know I was new. They didn't know I sucked. You know what I'm saying? I was getting a...
Should be that.
Yeah, but I was also getting better. You had to.
No, you get better. The better your competition, the better.
I remember one time I thought my eyes were black and blue. My nose was hurting, and I came in and I was just wanted to work out that day. He goes, "Oh, glove up. You got to spar." I'm like, not today, man. My freaking nose is. He goes, "What'd you say?" He said, my nose is freaking killing me. He goes, why don't you go back to the weights? Because I was a bodybuilder. They don't hit back. And I was like, this
It was the end of your career, man.
I still kept going a little bit more because I couldn't quit like on that day. But I was also getting ready to go into the police academy, and I hadn't broken a bone yet. So I figured
And then he changed his name to Jerry Cooney.
Yeah. So you knew Artie, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, who used to fight in there? Michael Bent used to fight in
Bent,
there. Kevin Kelly.
That's funny. Michael Bent ended up fighting my brother-in-law in the guard in the finals of the Golden Gloves.
Oh, really?
And he beat him, yeah.
One time we had a bunch of crackheads come down, not crackheads, crack dealers come down to that place. And I remember they were bothering Artie and all of us. They were with the chains back then, and who's the best fighter? I'm gonna F him up. and we all want to fight. And you know, I'm new. I'm like, I hope these guys don't come to me. And then how much you weigh? Long story short, Artie's telling him to get lost. They won't. All of a sudden, Michael Bent comes down. He's got his bag, everything, and he looks. What's going on, Artie? So Artie goes, these guys, they're bothering us. They won't leave. He goes, you know what? I'll take care of it. He goes, I'll fight you all. Glove him up, Artie. I'm gonna go get ready. So then they changed their tune. Then oh no, only he wants to fight. So he came out. The guy didn't want to wear headgear. The crack dealer, he didn't want to wear a mouthpiece. Nothing. Finally, get him into everything. He goes, Michael Bent says, I'm not even gonna hit you in the head. And one shot in the stomach. The guy's swinging for everything he's got. Michael Bent moves back. Wham! And then the guy's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's hugging him. Oh, you're the man. So that ended that. And that's the funniest thing about boxing. Tell me that's not the truth. Everybody thinks you can do it just like comedy until you get in the ring and you get hit once or you run out of gas within 5 seconds.
That's what the smokers are all about. You get the tough guy in the precinct,
Uh-huh.
and then the one guy that wants to call him out, maybe he's got a little experience, and
Kicks his
he
ass.
shuts the tough guy in the precinct up.
But now I would imagine with the mixed martial arts being so popular, boxing is obviously, striking is a big part of it. That you probably have people that with much more fighting experience coming to you. Now they've had a lot more experience than they used to have.
Well, some do, some do. But the thing is, we got to match it up as evenly as possible, and we don't want to get anybody hurt. So we do, but that works when we're going to box against other departments.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you've been around a long time. Let me ask you a question, because I just out of nowhere I watched this fight the other day. I don't know why. Richard Frazier.
Oh, God. He worked in the 2-6.
Against
Roy Jones.
Jr.
Roy Jones
And I remember I was like pumped up. I was like, this guy.
I have a good friend. We sparred a lot.
I know, and let me tell you something. Don't ask me how he did it. He managed to get away from Roy Jones Jr., who we all know is one of the fastest guys in the history of everything. His hand speed was incredible, and he managed to duck and move and get away a little bit too much because, and then he forgot to hit him back, or tried to anyway.
Well, he was looking to survive.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's a guy working a full-time job and training on the side.
Of course.
And
it was a nice thing
Roy
to
Jones,
do.
no, it was a wonderful thing.
How did he get that
And-
fight?
Because it was, I guess, a little show business.
Yeah.
He's fighting a cop, give him the opportunity like a Rocky type thing,
Right.
give the unknown cop a chance
Didn't he
to fight
trip
the
and
champ.
sprain his ankle or something,
Yeah.
and he sued HBO?
No, I don't know about that. I don't know. Something with the job too, because after that, you couldn't be a pro fighter and be a cop anymore.
Oh,
after
really?
that incident. But then now they changed it back, and you can do it.
Oh, yeah, good.
can't turn
Yeah,
pro.
because that I think you should.
Kelly brought it back because Kelly was actually Commissioner Kelly was
A fighter
the
back
boxing
in-
commissioner.
Oh yeah.
At one time, yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting. I'm friends with. I used to work in the 2-6, and the guy who's in ESU. I met him, and he's on the boxing team. He's probably retired now from the boxing team, at least, if not from the job. You know what I'm talking about? He was in ESU.
We had a
Is
couple of
he-
guys, Mark Sinatra.
No, he's definitely Irish.
Well, I had Joey Cintron. You know
Joey
Joey
Cintron,
He was
yeah.
a great
He's up there.
anti-crime cop, man. He was
Very
on my
good
team.
boxer,
He was
too,
one of
yeah.
the best follow guys I ever had, man. He could blend right in because he was small.
Yeah.
No one thought he was a cop.
Uh-huh.
He was good.
Well, and we were talking about him before. Jamal Spence was a kid in Webster.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning with that. You have a program, right? And the program is called. You're the founder of Cops and Kids.
NYC Cops and Kids, correct?
NYC Cops and Kids.
Oh, sure.
And what if I become part of I have my child? I want to put him in the program. What they get a chance to do?
Well, we have the only free kids program in the city, so we.
And this is boxing.
Boxing. Well, I sort of changed it now. We sort of evolved because of that stigma that boxing has, and we got into everything. It's a NYC Cops and Kids Youth Centers now because we're going to do CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting, and it's free for kids 12 to 21 years old. It was established by cops, it's run by cops, and it's totally funded by cops. So it's really public relations wise for the department. It's a wonderful thing. And it's cops all that do it on their own time.
And are
It's
you
really nothing that's
privately
done.
funded?
we fund it through our smokers. That's how we got it. That's how we evolved, because boxing against the fire department, we had to split the money between us. We said, you know what, we could do this on our own, take all the money and put it just towards the program. So it's cops going out and fighting for kids. So
Where are
it's
your
just a good
training
thing.
facilities?
We right now have one in Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn, and we have two in Staten Island. The Berry House is in Park Hill.
And these are, you put these in housing developments?
Well, we
You use rec rooms and stuff?
the hardest part, because we want to get back to have a presence in every borough, but the hardest part is trying to find a location, a landlord that would give us the space for free, because it's a free program. If we had to pay rent and utilities, there would be no way to actually fund the program. So that's the hardest part. Right now, we're really looking hard in the Bronx. So anybody has a place in the Bronx, you want a Cops and Kids program, and let me know.
Well,
Reach
let me
out.
ask you something. The kid that comes to you and says, I want to learn how to box, what's that kid like? Who is he? Who is this kid?
They're usually at-risk kids that are in the community, and you know who that comes to us is the parents. The parents that see the kid is going with the wrong crowd, and they're in a panic, and they call us. They reach out to us to our social media pages.
Yeah, tell us about Jamal, because that's a real story. Well, Jamal.
Jamal is a kid from Webster in the Bronx, and he joins the Webster program, and the coaches there take him in, and he's an okay boxer, but you can see he's a good kid, but he's going in the wrong direction. They put him in the right direction. They tell him take the test, takes the test, and today he becomes a New York City cop. And actually today, present day, he's a first grade detective.
Wow.
Right, and because he came from the streets, he made the perfect. He was an undercover. He bought up guns and drugs all over the place, and just a wonderful kid. And he'll tell you, if it wasn't for the program, he would have went the wrong way. So that's what the program does. It gets to those kids that are on the fence, and it puts them in the right direction. So the program's really not about boxing.
Right,
the boxing is the carrot on the end of the stick.
Even
that
if the kid doesn't become a great boxer.
no, but I'll tell you, out of the program, out of 100 kids in the program, 20 of them box competitively. Most of the kids just want a shirt. They walk around. Believe it or not, in Flatbush and in Park Hill, instead of walking around with Latin Kings colors, and they're walking around with a Cops and Kids shirt on,
great.
and they're proud to wear it. So in this climate today, could you imagine? Kids are walking around with a Cops and Kids T-shirt on, the Cops and Kids jacket, and they're proud because of social media, because the kids in the program have gone on to be like real good people, and we got good fighters in the program. We had the last 3 Olympics. 2012, we had Marcus Brown went to the Olympics from our Park Hill gym.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Now, if you know boxing, you know that's the world champion. Get to get amateur boxing is to get a kid to go to the Olympics. 2016, we had a kid from a Flatbush gym went to. He didn't make the USA Olympic team, but he had dual citizenship, so we got him on the Haiti Olympic team.
Oh, that's
2016, and now in 2020, it'll probably be 2021 because of COVID. We have a Brownsville kid that's going to the Olympics, Bruce Carrington.
Yeah, it's a really good community, the boxing community. I remember it well. It's a really tough road to. It's a very individual sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though.
But that's what the great thing about it is. It teaches the kids a work ethic and discipline. And I coach football and I coach boxing. But football, if you're a linebacker, you got a safety behind you. That's gonna, if you make the wrong move, you got a safety that's gonna back you up. In boxing, you cheated and you didn't train. That's you in that ring, and it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out when you make a mistake. You're gonna pay.
I had an idea that I was pitching early on when we started the podcast, and what I wanted to do with the PAL eventually when this thing blew up and people would listen to what I had to say. And one of it was I wanted to get celebrities who grew up in New York. This idea would never work now, by the way. You'll find out why. But I wanted to get celebrities who grew up in New York to sponsor PAL teams, depending on from each neighborhood that they were. And then the cops would coach the kids. But I'm talking about it would be free for all kids. Baseball, basketball, boxing, possibly football. All the equipment would be donated by these celebrities. And they would get their name on the, you know, a little name on the jersey, but whatever. And then they would compete, and it would be cops off-duty coaching all these different teams. And that was my idea. There would be commercials involved. I already had, like, thinking in my head, Fat Joe doing a commercial for his neighborhood in the Bronx, and then Wu-Tang doing something in Staten Island, how they're going to face, you know what I'm saying? And it would be like almost even like a little rap battle for these kids who are going to go out and play basketball in a tournament. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted. But of course, we'd have to wait a couple of years until this sentiment against police officers, because every celebrity right now is like on this bandwagon to defund the police. So it's just
until they get their house raided by someone, then like the first thing they call is 911, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, half these people don't even know what they're signing up for.
No,
They just want to
they
be.
have no idea.
They think they want to be on the right side of history instead of having a backbone. But anyway, that was my idea at the time.
But that's a wonderful idea, and we think alike because it's something that I would love to see the department really get behind. Maybe something good could come out of this whole thing. That right now they're finally realizing that there's not enough programs for the kids that are going to attract the right kids, and maybe they could start putting some money into the program. And I said it before, Colin Kaepernick, you took a knee. You brought it to people's attention that you think there's a problem. But what are you doing now to come up with a solution? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're running a boxing program for free kids. Now, why don't you, I'm calling you out, Colin Kaepernick, run a program similar to ours with, I don't even know where he's from, but with that local police department, and do something like this, a Cops and Kids program. And all these celebrities that have got a problem with cops. We know, all right, there's a problem. Now, what are you going to do to solve the problem? We're doing it. And in the NYPD, cops are going out on their own, fighting for fun, and the money's going to keep kids off the street. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I'm calling them out. I'm calling all you celebrities out. Just, that's a great idea.
I wanted to make
why
it
give
so
up
easy.
on it?
Why
give up on it?
Well, I wasn't giving
No.
up on it. I was just waiting until we get to this. Our platform
No,
here
I know, but
reaches
why
certain-
wait? You brought it to everybody's attention. You crippled the NYPD. Shootings are going crazy. Why? What are you doing? Look yourself in the mirror. What are you doing to solve the problem? I'll tell you what cops are doing. We're going out every day and taking care of kids.
Because you know as well as I do, when you have a PAL, now you get to know some of the kids in your neighborhood. So God forbid, you know, the kid is in the wrong spot at the wrong time or whatever. If it's nothing, you know, nothing even serious, you know, you get that call. Oh, listen, and then you know, I know the kid. He's a good kid. Let me go talk to him. Let me go get his parents. You know what I'm saying? We managed to circumvent an possible arrest situation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these small arrests wind up, it messes up the kid's head. They think they're never going to amount to something because they had this stupid discount arrest. Because, you know, but my point is that you could prevent all this, and the cops could be looking out for these kids.
But now is a good segue to why we started the program. As I'm a rookie cop in the 7-2. I don't know if you go back that far, but 7-2 was a model precinct for community policing. So I'm honored to be chosen. I'm a rookie. I got maybe 6 months on patrol at the time. And they say, you want to be part of the CPOP program. And CPOP was Community Police Officers Program. And this is 85, 86. Common sense policing it was. Go to the community, find out what problems are facing the community, work with the community to solve the problem. Biggest problem in Sunset Park was probably every neighborhood in the city, every at-risk neighborhood or every poor neighborhood was there wasn't no good programs for these kids. To get to these kids before the Latin Kings got to them, before the Bloods got to them, before the Crips got to them, get to them with a program that's going to take them off the street and put them in the right direction.
Well, you know, we've seen some programs like up in the Washington Heights, Abusec baseball program.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful
what's his
program.
name? Detective or Sergeant Moynihan, or is it Detective Moynihan runs it?
Yeah, no,
And
that's
been
it's
successful
the
for like
same
30
concept.
years.
So out of CPOP comes we find a location in Sunset Park. We build a program. This is 30-something years ago. We put a boxing ring up. We don't even know what we're doing. And today got thousands of kids came through the program. But my point was that's police work because it was crime prevention,
Right.
it was recruitment that we got, and
some of
it's
the
real
kids
good
come
police
back
work.
to you and give back to the program? Some of the
They,
kids
they,
that
they,
went through it?
they all do. My coach from Sunset Park, my coach in Brooklyn right now, Arilana Sosa, was a kid that was in the Sunset Park program, gets a job with National Grid, and today he's one of the premier coaches probably in the country.
That's cool.
Boxing
Yeah.
coaches?
And he's a kid that now he's a man and he's giving back to the program. He's my head coach in our Flatbush Brooklyn
Yeah,
gym.
I mean, I definitely agree with you. This idea that the common idea we share, it's not dead, but I think we need a couple.
No,
months
I know,
to
but
pass
let's
by.
revive. Let's revive it because I think the people are starting to speak up.
Yeah,
I think they're sick. They're reading the papers every day. They're sick of what's going on in our city and our country, and they say the police are not the problem.
No, this
Police are not the
anti-police
problem.
sentiment isn't going to last
No,
forever.
but no,
you know?
No,
the
it goes
police
in
are not the
waves. It
problem.
goes in waves.
And in
But
my
right
opinion,
now,
they're the solution.
we're in the thick of it right now.
Yeah.
And when you look at the
But
faces of the people,
I think like the
really,
corona, it came to its peak.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's starting to come down because people want to live in a safe community.
when I'm looking at Jennifer Aniston's picture as part of this defund the police, of all these celebrities that are defunding the police, I saw a whole cachet of pictures. I'm like, really? You too, Jennifer?
Oh, God.
Come on, man. You were my friend.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's so pathetic. It's really
but
pathetic.
who knows? Who knows if she really knows what she's part of? She could have got a letter
I
from
know.
somewhere, an assistant send it in. To me, I'm hoping that's the case because you got to be a moron. You grew up here in New York City. You know what I'm saying?
I love
know,
the
but
job
she-
of
but
violence.
But she don't live it today. She
No.
has no
But
idea.
still, it
what
doesn't
people
matter.
in Brownsville are living.
It doesn't
People in the
matter.
Bronx are living.
To me, I never drop my loyalties. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to change overnight just because you think it should. You know,
Yeah, but
I
you
don't
know,
switch
there's also
like that.
these like woke ideas like violence interrupters. What do they look like?
You know what?
What
If
does
you-
a violence interrupter look like?
You could always shut up right now. Your career is dead anyway, pretty much. You could be quiet for a little while.
I don't know why celebrities get to speak for groups of people anyway.
They're not, it's
They
up
don't
to
know
you whether
shit
you
about
listen.
anything.
I mean, she's the only one that I actually cared about. It was
There's
like, wow,
lots
I
of
can't-
them that speak
well,
up
why
about
would
things
you?
they're unqualified to talk about. You know?
Anyway, I don't want to pick on her too much. Back to the boxing thing. So we covered the this thing that with the cops and the kids. So you say the spaces that you get are basically people have to give them to you for free. So if you're out there and you own a business and you have a spare a basement that nobody's using, a back room that's how much square feet do you need?
We need about 2,000 square feet.
2,000
We
square
need
feet.
plumbing because you have to have obviously a bathroom.
Yeah.
And,
How about
it-
professional boxers or the boxing whole industry there? Do they help out?
Well, they come and they support the program. We get a lot of donations from kids that came through the program too, but none of them have made like Mayweather money
Right.
where they could actually come back. That's my actual dream, is one of our kids is going to make it to that level. And I'm going to give my kid a shout out right now. Chris Colbert, he's right now the interim lightweight champion. And he's a kid that came through our Flatbush program, was a typical troubled kid, getting in trouble in school, constantly getting thrown out of school, came into our program, and today he's a world champion. He's a world champion, and he's signed with Al Heyman, and he's really got the opportunity to, and he's just a great kid. But when he came into the program, he hates when I say this, but he was a punk ass.
Yeah.
And but when they come into the program, they got that shield up,
Sure,
that
sure.
thug shield, and
A veneer.
but you know what that
You
is?
have to have that in
That's
a
called
neighborhood.
survival. Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
gotta
called
have that in a
survival.
neighborhood.
And you know what's the greatest thing when you see in the gym, when they come in the gym and they're working with the coaches and stuff, and then the cop comes in and the cop goes to work with him and everything, and you see the shield come down, and you say, "That's my son. It could be."
You know,
It's a good kid
Great
from the
thing,
street.
yeah. You know,
just a kid that's puts that shield up because it's survival
it's
when you're going up
personalities.
in Flatbush.
Did you know Scooter?
Yeah, I do. He
Okay.
trains a few of our kids.
Yeah, so Scooter wasn't a cop, but Scooter had this. I wish I remembered his real name right now, but I'm giving a shout out to you, Scooter. He's been in the boxing business and personal fitness for as far as I know, 20, 30 years. Great trainer. But when he used to come in the gym, he talked to people in a certain manner that it was like, it's just, because you lose that tough veneer, especially when you walk in and there's a grown man telling you, you got to hit harder than that, or just anything that he would say, what's the matter with your sneakers, or you couldn't do your hair today. They like that. They like that personal rapport, and they like to have a place where you can let the shield down.
Yeah, and that's what the boxing gym is. And I invite you guys to come to the grand reopening when we open our gym in Flatbush.
I'd love to come down there with a camera, with a shot.
Yeah. No, we do. We got to do something from there because we're reconstructing the whole place. We got hit with a horrendous flood, and the landlord, who's a wonderful guy, in the Flatbush Gardens in Brooklyn.
You think you got anybody, maybe an old timer that can take Bill in the gym and punch him around?
We got a few.
You didn't hear that. I said I'll fight him.
Smack him around.
I think that's a call out. I think that could be the next smoke.
I'll hit you with so many lefts, you'll be begging for a right.
I'll hit you so many combinations you'll feel like a safe.
We have Madison Square Garden booked. The day they shut down the city was Thursday, March 12th. We was slated to have one of our biggest fundraisers in Madison Square Garden, and it was canceled that night, the night of the event.
Oh wow!
So we're rescheduled if you guys want to be the main event.
Oh,
I think we could do it.
I'm not worried.
Arrange it.
Listen, I remember when I was growing up back in the, because right now it's like when I used to go to bars when I was a kid, a lot of times maybe you just want to get in a fight, like not a crazy 2-3 punches. It wasn't a big deal.
But that's all they usually are.
Yeah, but nowadays every kid knows mixed martial arts. You get into a fight, next thing you know, the kid's wrapped around your head. You're like, whoa, my friend, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. You win. Just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the way it used to be back in the day. I could still, I know I still got some power in this hand right here, but I don't know my wind is probably like 2 or 3 punches. I'd be done.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But I can pace myself.
What we do
I'm not dumb enough to
with
go
the smokers,
crazy.
they're only 1 minute rounds, 3 1-minute rounds. But that 1 minute,
I definitely know how
that
to
1
pace
minute,
myself.
you gotta
that
run
1
away.
minute feels like a half hour.
Listen, I don't mind taking a shot either, man.
How about, let me ask you something. How about the UFC? They seem like they got nothing but money. Why don't you hit them up for some money?
Yeah,
I know it's mixed
I'm
martial
sure,
arts.
yeah.
It's like-
See if you could get me on Joe Rogan.
yeah, we like that too,
Yeah,
no, but I mean, they got sick money.
Yeah, no,
How
I
about
know.
let's give it back, give some back,
The problem is that if professional boxing did it here in New York, then they'd probably wanted them to do it all over.
Yeah,
And
that's it. Like everybody says, why don't you just get Everlast to donate it? You know how many boxing programs are
Right.
in the country?
Yeah.
If they'd be a not-for-profit company if they
I think the
just gave
move, like
stuff
we
away.
mentioned earlier, would be to get celebrities involved. Get them to write it off as a donation to our, what's that called? Non-profit.
We're a not-for-profit. It's
Yeah.
NYPD Fighting Finest.
Not-for-profit.
And all the money goes
and,
towards the kids.
Yeah, man. I think it's definitely doable. I just want to get like a bigger platform. I know. See, I've been a comic for 20 years. I'm not good friends, but I know a bunch of comedians that we all know. We see on TV every day. That I could get to at least take up a program and introduce me to somebody else, and we can network this thing. And before you know it, it's still be off the ground.
That's my biggest problem. Is because running the program is difficult because you're dealing with kids that got multiple problems, and so you really got to be on top of running the program. But now, funding takes a lot to raise the funds. I find myself putting too much time in fundraising and not enough time running the program, and it's just because we're a bunch of cops that got together, put this together, and at a bar, this paper, we're going to do it, and we never had any real backing. But that's what we need. I need somebody that says we're going to fund the program and then let us run the program and just look how good we did just by the seat of our pants. If we had a stream of funding that we didn't have to waste so much time running fundraisers
Right, that
and
takes a lot of your time.
just focus on
Absolutely.
running the program. And the kids in the program really, you know what it is. There's a stigma to boxing where when you're trying to raise funds, people don't want to give to boxing programs.
Why?
Just because of an ignorance of the sport and an ignorance of what we do. They think we're just teaching kids to beat the crap out of each other, the whole concussion thing, and they're hesitant to give money towards boxing programs. But the kids in our program, I'm telling you who they are. They are the throwaway kids in New York City that nobody wants to deal with because they're hard. And now you got cops that just know how to deal with them just because we deal with them every single day in the streets. And you know how to talk to a kid. You don't talk down
Well, let
to
me
them.
ask something about it. Besides the boxing part, is there any other maybe counseling or anything like that?
No,
for those kids?
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't want to miss out on that. And like I said, it's a carrot on a stick. We got them in the program. Now we have a classroom that we built in the Flatbush program. And they said, why would you make me waste all this money to build a classroom? What box is going to be in that classroom to do anything?
Right.
It's full every single day. Because you know what? They see the one kid that took it, and it's not a classroom to do like homework. It's a classroom, like a life classroom.
Right.
If you got to go for, if you're going to take the police test, we have police books. My mentor teacher is a Golden Gloves female champion. She writes for she's a professional writer, Sarah Deming, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. She sits there in the patience of a saint, sits there and will go over how you take the NYPD test. But not only how you take the NYPD test, how hard was it when you went through the investigation process?
Yeah.
Right? If you didn't have a parent, somebody at home to help you get through that investigative process, how's she going to do it? So we sit down as cops. This is how you got to get there. You got to get all that paperwork in. You got to go there in a suit and tie. You got to. They went there in my kids' suits to go to
The interview.
to go meet their interviews.
Yeah.
But
That's a great,
that's what I said. It's not boxing. It's putting a
It's
kid.
life skills.
Yeah, no, it's just taking care of that throwaway kid that nobody gives a shit about. Everybody wants to spend a lot of money on the Board of Education, but these are the kids that slip through the cracks, that get involved in our program because they want to fight to get out of the streets, and they.
That's great.
And that's what the classroom does. A lot of the kids, because they don't want to go to college, they're not college material. They realize that, but you need that to become a cop. So we tell them you got to go into service. You know how many kids went through the service, but they got to get through that the ABSAB. They got to get through that test, and it's a little difficult for some of them. So we teach them how to take that test and pass it, and how to go through the investigation process to get into the military.
Well, you definitely saved a lot of kids.
No,
off the
and
streets,
write
man.
resumes,
Yeah.
and then we have an SAT. If you're taking the SATs, we got a kid that
You
came
should
through
have
the
coached
program.
him. He had a bad SAT. He brags about it too.
That's a wonderful thing that you're involved in. Are you still in the city, or you live on the island?
I live in Staten Island.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I live
All
in
right,
Staten
good. So
Island.
you're there, close to the gyms and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got my routine. I got a business on Utica Avenue in the 6-7, Chef Choice. So my routine is I leave work, I go to our Flatbush gym, I hit the Park Hill gym, and I hit our Berry Houses gym, and then I'm home by 8 o'clock at night.
Wow,
Wow.
it's a busy life.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
but it's a good life.
stop in there, smack a couple people around. Right?
But the coaches most.
Collects the money.
And it's really the coaches that do the grunt work because they're there every single day
Right.
with these kids. And that coach, really, they do God's work. They become not a boxing coach. Besides a boxing coach, they're the mother, the father, the teacher, the
Does
priest.
the kid get to spar every
the
day?
psychiatrist.
Or
No,
it's
the bag?
Sparring is you hook up the sparring and you take it. Well, you've seen it, right? You've seen it with Artie. He wouldn't let you spar. He said, "You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready."
Yeah.
Because that's the worst thing you could do is you put a kid in there when he's not ready. He gets punched in the nose. His eyes start tearing. He goes, "This ain't for me."
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're done with the gym. So you got to take your time with them.
That being said,
Not the first time they
I
went.
tell you, I haven't been in the ring or fought in a long time, but I can almost guarantee I could beat up a couple of your kids.
got probably
Just throwing it out there.
I got Chris Colbert, 130 pounds.
No. You already talked to not that kid.
He'll even say, put 3 of them in here. I can take all 3 of these 120 pounders.
Damn, it'll feel like you're fighting 3 guys.
No, I'm
His hands are so
talking about
quick.
one of the newer kids that coming off the street. Wow, that's great, man. I want to do more stuff with you. I want to team up, and maybe we can make this thing a reality. And I think boxing's it's a great sport because even though it's such an individual thing, that's what's important about. You mentioned about the team sport. You got a safety behind you. He's going to cover your back. In boxing, you kind of got, no matter what happens, you got to do everything yourself.
No,
you got to run
it's
yourself.
all on you, right.
You got to do the sparring yourself. You got to hit the bag, the nutrition, all that. You could have a bunch of coaches and everybody around you trying to motivate you. But in here, you have to be prepared. You have to, I did it. Bodybuilding didn't hit back, but it was a discipline, and I still. To this day, I follow that discipline. I mean, I don't follow it, but at least I know I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, but it teaches you a work. It teaches you a work.
That was great. That was great. I almost thought he was still working out until he said that.
No. I know. Listen, I know when I'm eating wrong. I remember bringing I used to bring my own chicken places.
I know when I have that big glass of tequila that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what the boxing does. It teaches them exercise, to eat right. We have a whole nutrition program that the kids have to follow, and it hits every good point.
Now you have your son's on the job, right?
My son is on the job,
Is
and
he
he
involved
boxed.
in
He
boxing?
boxed. He came through the program.
Oh, great.
He followed in my path. He fought Madison Square Garden and beat up a fireman.
Oh, that's great. We love that.
Yeah, and he went on the job. He was in his 7-7, and he just got picked up.
We don't hate firemen anymore, right?
No. I
So
love
it's been
the
so many
firemen.
years since 9/11.
And he got caught, and in this climate, he got called for the fire department, and he stayed on the job. We'll see how
Wow.
smart that move was.
Right. Firemen
Yeah, that's
definitely have it
interesting, man. I
easier.
tried to do that too, and it didn't work out. But I also had a friend, my friend Richie, may he rest in peace. He died in a fire, and he was a power lifter. And I always think about him. I'm like, wow, that guy he can move anything. And how did he not get out of that fire? Like, if he would have died, I would have definitely died. So it's in a way like, you got to think about, would I rather get shot or burned to death?
No, I'd rather get shot.
Well, smoke. No, but the smoke is the worst thing.
No, because I've been in a fire, and it was
It's bad news.
yeah, you earn your money.
One
Yeah,
All
fire.
those times that you're working out and eating, that one fire, you earn your career's pay.
That's true.
Yeah. It's fire's no joke, man. Like, you could feel it from a block away, the smoke and all that. And I'm like,
Until you feel it, you're in that building. My God, I couldn't believe it.
yeah, and you can't keep, like, if you get a call, like, you could always pretend like you can't find the edge, just got the lights and sirens on, where they're still shooting, keep going around. It's just the fire, you see it right there. Like, that's it. We can't pretend like we don't see the fire. You got to go to it.
Now the firemen, their team, they probably get more of a chance to work out at work than cops, right?
That's when I boxed that first boxing event against the fire department. We did. I think they copied it. You remember 24/7?
Yes,
They do the 24/7. But the Post sponsored it, and every day they would interview a cop and a fireman, and they put the interviews in the paper.
Yeah.
And the fireman that I fought said, "How could I lose to a cop? We're naturally built stronger.
Oh,
We're training
God.
every
oh,
day."
really? That's what he said?
You kicked his ass.
No, it was it was a very close bout. He's a wonderful guy, but it gave me a little incentive to go that extra level in training.
Well, they do get a chance. I mean, look, the equivalent would be our ESU guys. They can't sleep at work. They gotta be on the clock. The firemen sleep at work. They go in. No, it's true.
I'm not.
They go in for 3 days.
In case because my son is still on the list. I love firemen.
No, but I'm just saying they go into work. They work 3 days in a row, and then you have like 4 days off, right? And out of those 3 days, they're sleeping, half of it. Right?
I used to perform at this club down in the village.
He totally ignored me about the fireman
Because he
thing.
took my
No,
lead.
because
I don't
no,
want to
no,
start
it's
the trouble
about
with
the
the fire
fireman
department.
thing.
We want them as customers on
I used
off
to,
the cuff.
right next door to the comedy club downtown on 4th Street used to be.
And you got a park.
would be was a firehouse. It looked like a firehouse. It might have been a firehouse back in the day, but at this point right now, it wasn't an NYPD, a New York City Fire Department house. It was a privately funded firehouse. What they do is if there's a fire, they go in and save the computers. But people, tourists would be walking by and they'd be peeking into this, would look like a firehouse. And it was right next door to the comedy club. So I would always tell them, shh, they're sleeping right now. I wake up, and they'd always go, really, they're sleeping? I said, yeah, they sleep all day.
I remember the firehouse near the first precinct down by, by the World Trade Center. These guys had 3 years on the job, and 9/11 was 15 years ago, and they're standing there like, dude, you weren't even there. And these tourists are looking at them like they're these heroes.
You know what? I envy them though, because they take the rig out and they park it right there on Bleecker, and they stand around it, and the chicks that flock around that thing.
I love when they
It's
go.
better than the horse. It's better than the dog.
I love when they go for Chinese food with the entire battalion in the truck.
Because you can't hide the horse. I don't care how many chicks, how many girls gather around the horse. They're trying to feed the horse. At some point, you want to get rid of the horse. Where are you going to put it? The truck, we could just leave it here. Just unlock it and let's take a walk. We can't just leave the horse. You can never just leave the horse. You know why?
It might be a problem.
People like to give it drugs.
Drug up the horse.
You ever see people when you leave
Hey,
the
my horse
they're
has
like
got
this,
the
they're
munchies.
Right?
I guess in New York today, it's commonplace.
We really don't want to put down firemen. They are good guys.
Love
No,
the
no,
fun.
no.
We love the
We're
fun.
just
No
goofing.
rivalry.
Today we're
We're
busting balls in the
We're
firemen.
just busting
a little
balls.
bit.
It's true.
So if somebody wanted to give you some money, donate, sponsor, where could they find you?
NYPDboxing.com. We have a donate button. You just could go on it and donate, and follow us on social media, Facebook, NYC Cops and Kids, and on Instagram, NYC Cops and Kids.
You were just also on a national radio show with John J.
John J. Wiley, yes.
Wiley, right?
Well, yeah, it
Did he
didn't
give you the
come out.
date?
It didn't come out yet. I think he said 2 weeks, so that would be probably in another week.
And the nice thing is, once it comes out, it's on for a week straight.
Oh, that's
so,
good, yeah.
which is great. So you definitely plug that on social media.
I did. I didn't get it out enough. We
Yeah.
got to caught it right on the end because we went a little
How
long.
often, tell us about the schedule with the boxing. Like, if I'm on the boxing team, what am I responsible for?
We're
How
talking-
often am I going to fight? A year.
Well, we're talking about the NYPD.
I'm on the
or
let's
on
pretend I'm on the
NYPD
boxing team.
Well, we try to do 4 shows a year, so every 3 months.
Okay, so, and then usually that's going to be, well, you got the one at the Garden.
Right. That's one at the Garden every
And then
year.
where you go, LA, the other one?
No. We're just doing smokers now because now it's about making money to keep the program alive. So basically, we really haven't fought another police department in a while because those shows we really don't make any money to go into the program.
You
so
spend
everything,
money 'cause you
everything.
got to get to England and
Yeah,
stuff.
it does. It costs us a fortune to just think of the travel and hotels, to go to London, to go to Houston, to go to LA. So right now we've been just doing smokers, and what we do is we do one in the Bronx, which is always sold out. It's a wonderful event. And we do one in Coney Island. We do one right in Gargiulo's parking lot, which is great.
That's
You
nice.
got the-
Outdoors?
Yeah, it's outdoors. You got the
Yeah, that's
cyclone
nice.
and the Ferris wheel as the backdrop.
You get knocked out, somebody brings you a snow cone.
And then Nathan's
all right,
outdoors.
It's outdoors.
And then Nathan's
The
outdoors.
butterflies are going around your head. Somebody's giving you a snow cone. It's going to be all right, kid.
But they're great events, and the precincts just really come out. They make a whole
Yeah,
night
yeah,
of it.
yeah, it's a
they
great thing.
rent the Bronx rents a bus. The Bronx is the best. They rent a bus. They come out. They
That's
come
great.
out and really support their guys.
Excellent.
Now, let me ask you something. How often is that the best fights are not in the ring? They're actually in the audience with the cops when they get drunk and they start fighting each other. You ever take the camera off the ring and just go, let's look
Go
at this
to the
fight?
audience.
Well,
There goes a guy from the 4-4 fighting a guy from the 7-6.
Well, that's when the real NYPD team fighters they're in the audience trying to prevent that from happening.
Oh, really?
Because I know that's going to be the end of our smoking. The one
Right,
day,
right.
the one day when it becomes an all-out brawl.
Or if they someone spots an IAB guy in the audience, let's fuck that guy up.
That's great. It's a wonderful thing you're doing, man. So, okay, so we're doing the smokers right now. Once COVID is over, hopefully we can,
The big thing we got coming up is going to be the grand reopening, because I said we got hit with a horrific flood in the Flatbush gym, and the landlord basically ripped out the entire thing and rebuilt it for us.
Wow.
And it's almost completed, and it's spectacular. Once you see this gym, and we teamed up. We're gonna have NYPD CrossFit in there, NYPD yoga, because we always get knocked that we don't do enough for the girls. Even though we got Christina Cruz, that's another Olympian. I keep forgetting to bring her up. Christina Cruz is a 7-time Golden Gloves champion. She's also she didn't make the USA. She's an alternate on the USA team. She's from Puerto Rico. She's going to be representing Puerto Rico in the Olympics in Tokyo. So
great.
we're going to have two kids in the Olympics, which is
I was alternate for
we're very proud of.
I'm an alternate for the New York City Marathon every year. Well,
That was my bucket list. I never completed.
I carbo load for 3 months prior, and they never called me. What were you saying about the kids that cut you off? The girl, she said
Christina Cruz,
she has
she's
two
going to be
kids.
representing. No, her and Bruce Carrington are going to be representing us in the Olympics this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
our
right,
program.
cool. That's great.
So this must really bother you. This whole COVID thing just knocked this whole thing out of the box,
it's
right?
my phone
Yeah,
doesn't
because now
stop
what happens
ringing.
with the boxing, man?
Hey, no, what happens with the kids that are in the streets now? They haven't been in the gym, and this is summer, the worst possible time for them to be in the streets.
And now they know how to fight.
Well, that's how they survive. That's survival skills.
Knocking their
kicking in.
sister right out. Everyone's in that apartment all day, right?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I mean, stuck in a small apartment.
Anybody ever get like hurt in the ring there? Like on the job?
Knocking on wood. No, we put the big gloves on and 1 minute round, the headgears. So we really, and we try to referee the fights where if somebody's getting their ass kicked, which would be great visual. Watch a guy getting his ass kicked. We try to stop it. We try to stop
You're
it.
talking about in the
Stop
smokers?
it. Yeah. We try to stop it before it gets to that to that point. Because that would be the last thing we want is somebody to get hurt. But we did get a lot of hurt feelings.
Yeah, sure.
And
Why is it
embarrassing nights.
I mean, boxing's one of those things, like, there's no faking it. You look, because there's a grace to it. There's a movement to it. It's really, really hard to fake. Like, you could maybe do
There's no faking it. You didn't run. You didn't train. You didn't eat right.
But I'm just saying, when
It's
you
all
see
gonna come
somebody
out.
like a novice, like that they think that maybe they could be a really good fighter in the street for some reason, or they've won their street fights, but now you put them in the ring and they just get annihilated by somebody who could be half their size, not intimidating looking at all, doesn't have a mouth on them. They just know how to handle themselves.
No, but it happens all the time. Just like the kids would bent when they came in the ring, and they
Michael Bent, perfect story.
Yeah, and every bar they're knocking people out. But you put them in a ring with somebody that really knows how to box, and they don't stand a chance.
Well, I used to have that on TV where the bully would fight the UFC fighter. You ever watch any of those?
Yeah.
That was great. Like,
Yeah.
you could see like a real buff guy, and the UFC guy would just beat the shit out of the guy. And you're like, whoa.
It just goes to show you how stupid
Martial
people are.
arts.
No, it's not fake. If you know how to box and you know how to do martial arts, it's a skill. It's a real
Absolutely.
skill.
Have you ever had a guy who was a cop that's was so good at boxing that you're like, hey man, you should just, why are you here? You should just be a pro. Just go completely pro.
Richie Frazier was that guy. It didn't work out. But he made a nice living, and Richie's a wonderful guy. But you can't work a full-time job and be a pro fighter.
boxer,
Just
There was
can't
this
do
guy-
it. It's really a life's dedication that you gotta.
Oh,
that you
not
gotta
only
put
just for the time that it
to
consumes.
work at that level.
Even if
to
it was
fight at
just
that
the
level.
8 hours that you had to give him, it's not an office job. There's a lot of there's stress involved in it. That's
Yeah,
taking you.
There was
away.
this guy from Astoria, Queens years ago, a guy named Mark DeMeo, but he just didn't have the eye of the tiger, you know?
Yeah.
So he became a comic.
Give it a shot.
And now he's doing a podcast.
Wasn't a
He's
bad
cop.
choice. And he was fighting crime every
Yeah,
day.
and he stayed off the streets, you know, beat the streets, right?
Well, I want to just go through this one more time. If we want to make a donation, if we have a space, first of all, if we have a space,
If you have a space in the Bronx, we need about 2,000 square feet, and we need obviously bathroom facilities. NYPDboxing.com, or my email is nypdboxing@aol.com.
Is there any way that you can maybe get involved with a pre-existing boxing program somewhere and use maybe, I don't know, Sunday from 8 to 4 when it's not that open?
I know that would seem like a
Just to
logical
bring your
thing to
kids
do,
in?
but because those programs are for profit,
Right.
we're not for profit.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, if you got your kid, are you going to put them in the not for profit and not pay, or
Mm-hmm.
put them in Gleason's gym where they're paying a monthly fee?
Is there any way Mark or I could do a smoker against De Blasio?
Both of us.
I think like a tag team.
Yeah, we'll do a tag team.
You do the first round, you do the second round, I'll do the third round.
It's for charity.
I think we got to call them out.
Hey, De Blasio, we're calling you out.
And I would imagine, once again, with the website for cops and kids, where can we donate money for that?
NYPDboxing.com. There's a donate button. Just hit it, and all the money goes directly to keep the gyms open.
That's it, man. You're doing a great job there, and I'm hoping that.
And it is police work. It's not making a championship boxing. It's crime prevention. It's recruitment. It's putting kids in a better place in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's a discipline to it that carries over into day-to-day life. You see the benefits of training. You see how much better you get, and that's what you need. When you're a child, you need to see, oh, if I invest some time in this, I could get better at it. And I could be better than the average person and then better than people who do it. It just depends on my, how involved I get in it. And I think that's an important lesson.
And just to say that it's really not all about the boxing. And any kid in the program that gets over a 90 average, every report card, they get a $50 cash prize.
Wow,
and
that's
you
great.
can't believe how many boxes get that $50, these son of a bitches. I gotta go in my box and come up with $50.
How much do you
Everything.
get? How much do you get if you have like over a 70?
Try harder. And at the end of the year, every kid, and because they're so competitive out of the whole program, the highest average gets a $1,000 check
Wow.
from the NYPD boxing team.
Wow.
That has the highest average of the year.
What's
a
the
great
oldest
idea.
boxer you got there?
The old 21.
That's great, man. That's great. I want to thank you for coming in and gracing us with your presence. You're doing God's work out there. You're doing a great job. And I'm going to make sure that, we get a chance to have you back on again once this COVID thing is over, and we could promote the next smoker, and we'll get it out to all our listeners. And also, I'd like to come down to the event with Bill.
No, please come down to the opening event. You could
Yeah, we'd love
broadcast
to.
from right
Yeah.
there. I'm hoping the PC comes.
I'll come down in my bathrobe.
The Dominican stallion.
Put a chief chef choice meats. Oxtail
That's
string
right.
on the back
That's
of it.
Rice
Roll.
and beans.
All right, this was a good episode, man. Bill, any parting words?
Look, I'm always, sort of humbled to meet you, Pat, and the great things you're doing with your life and helping other people with their life. It's very humbling. You've given all your time for this, and I salute you.
Yeah, we're working on a website, and we're gonna put your stuff on there, like a direct link, so if people want to donate, they can just go to our website. It's in the process of being made right now. But in the meantime, I guess we're doing the COVID thing. Thank you so much for coming by, man.
You're welcome. Remember, the cops are not the problem. We're the solution.
Yep. we're definitely not the problem. We're trying to do some good things here, man. And that's what we're bringing to you. Positive. Trying to stay positive during these.
Positive and fun.
Yeah, positive and fun, and we really legitimately want to help the kids, man. We want to get these kids out there, get them involved in something positive, and you know, a career in law enforcement could be one of them. Learning how to box could be another one. But in the meantime, be safe and take care of yourselves out there, fellas. Go home to your families.